Welcome to At the Table,
where we are connecting entrepreneurs, discovering missions, and building communities with purpose, body, soul, mind, and business with
Charlie
and Heather.
with Women in Leadership. Hello and welcome back to the table. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather, and we love Mindset Monday.
Love Mindset Monday.
What an amazing way to start your week, choosing and deciding how you're going to show up in the world. And if we keep working on it every week, it makes a difference.
Yeah. And this week is a big one, you guys. We are going to get right into it. And this, we have been talking about the mastery of love and about career self-care by Vinda Zella, the mastery of love by Dr. Ruiz. And every week is a powerful week, and it's amazing to see how these two books are actually working together.
And these little books, man, they pack a wallop, right? Every chapter is like a wallop. Like, okay, let's just dig right in. Okay, so chapter 3 is called The Man Who Didn't Believe in Love. And this is an incredible story about how he went through life just feeling like love was bullshit. It was being addicted to somebody. It was a drug.
Yeah.
And he really saw that, it's a bunch of BS. And then he met someone
who also didn't believe in love. And so they started talking and they started communicating, and they talked about these ideas and things together for a while, and it's brought them closer together.
Right. So they had deep, meaningful, honest conversations. They spent time together. They missed each other. They enjoyed each other's company. And then he realized how he was feeling. It was like, oh, that must be what people are talking about.
That must be the feeling, but I don't see it the way that they do.
Right.
Or I don't see it the way it's portrayed. Because, how he experienced love before was a relationship based on control.
Who could manipulate the other person more effectively.
Right.
I was like,
it was about manipulation and things like that.
Yeah.
So then when he found this person that he can have this open, honest, loving, giving relationship with, he was like, this was not my experience of love. This is different. And so then he decided, even though he was afraid to have this conversation with her, like
he had this moment where he had this kind of download. And this happiness, right? And so that was really deeply in him. And instead of like talking to her about this feeling, he tried to give her the representation.
Right.
So he gave his happiness to her to hold.
Right.
And that's what this is about. Like, our happiness is for us to hold on to.
And we cultivate that within ourselves. Nobody else can care for that like you can.
Happiness never comes from outside of us. He was happy because the love coming out of him. She was happy for the love coming out of her, out of us.
Yeah.
Inside
We're
us.
happy because of the love that comes out of us.
If you take your happiness and put it in someone else's hands, sooner or later, she's going to break.
Yeah. You don't give your happiness away.
It's like giving our power away. Like, this is so profound. This chapter, right? Like, really taking responsibility for our own happinesses. And it goes really
radical
responsibility for our own well-being and our own happiness, our own ability to love and be loved and accept love.
Yeah. And when we accept love, we accept it wholeheartedly.
If happiness can only come from inside, and its result of your love. You are responsible for your happiness. Period. Period. You are responsible. I am responsible for my own happiness.
Yep.
Each one of us. In a relationship or not, this is our responsibility.
Right.
And when we give that power away, that's when we end up feeling broken, empty, whole, rotten whole, sorry, full of holes, right? We feel crushed because we handed our happiness to someone else.
Right. And the only time that I have actually had a really hard time with my relationship with JR, and we've been married, 20 years, was when I put the responsibility of my happiness on him. When I wasn't cultivating that for myself.
And it's hard, like, because you have to teach yourself to ask for what you need. There, because we're not making assumptions, right? So
and then you also have to figure out how to ask in the right way where they understand.
Right.
Which is a whole different conversation.
Right. And it's a process. So it's not like a one and done thing, or it means the end of a relationship you have. We're going to take a big deep breath before we go into career self-care, because it's very heavy today. Very good. Well written. I love this author. I love the way she writes. And then she talks about my hometown, Snohomish. I was like, I forget that she's local.
And you're like, oh
yeah. Look at it come out. So we are on chapter 3. And this chapter is called What If You Showed Up at Work as Yourself?
How many of us hide who we are when we go to work?
Or hide reactions?
Or what's going on in our personal lives that is affecting our work?
Oh, how many times have we heard check it at the door?
Yeah.
This is work. Leave it at the door.
Nobody needs your drama here. Right?
But how does that make us feel on the inside?
It's the guilt and shame around sharing what's going on in our lives.
Ooh. And as women.
Now, there's a difference between gossiping and sharing.
We're not talking about gossip. We're not talking about talking behind people's backs or putting people down to create a false sense of connection. We're talking about...
So we don't do that.
That is not a cool thing.
No.
It doesn't feel good. If you feel it, right, it doesn't feel good.
Right.
So we're only looking for things and experiences that feel good, because that's the road to happiness, right? When you have no idea what makes you happy, that first step is awareness of this doesn't make me happy. So no, I'm not going to do that. That's cool.
Yeah. Thanks. And then you really begin to listen to your own inner knowing about what is right and what is wrong. And then you keep following your intuition, and it will take you places you have never dreamed of.
Yeah. You can't even think of it. You can't see the top of the staircase that's in the clouds, right? You're just thinking the next right step. Right. And it's okay. Because your faith is going to lead you. And that's a really powerful thing. So, wow.
Yeah. What if you showed up to work as yourself?
So this chapter talks about a gal that didn't share with her coworkers that she had a miscarriage. And that she was having a difficult pregnancy, that she did not share these things. So she ends up having the miscarriage right before she leaves town on a business trip.
And she went anyway.
So she didn't take the time for herself that she probably needed.
Right.
Because she felt very drawn to be committed. And then she didn't share with anyone. I can't even imagine how lonely that would feel.
Right. The whole trip. Nobody knew what was going on. It was like, pull up your big girl panties and keep going.
Stuff your emotions in the box.
That's the expectation. And we're going to get a little deeper into this today, because this is an experience that I personally had. Yes. When I was active duty military, I lost a child at 21 weeks. much. And the rules have changed now, but back then, it was if you were back at work within 6 weeks of giving birth, no matter what the situation was. When the reality is that I needed time to heal, and instead of sending me back to full duty, they should have sent me to the therapist.
Right.
And
what an opportunity missed. Right, because you're in this controlled situation in the military. They could have easily, let's just have you go to therapy real quick before you come back to duty. Like, you're gonna be a different person.
Right, but I was so,
and you were young.
Yeah, in the military, like I was still so like it's so structured, and there's such expectations and pressure, especially as a female in the military. And I was in the Navy, which is like more male than most branches of service, which is weird, but I understand at the same time. It was this expectation that the battle goes on, so to speak.
Right. And back in your battle places.
Yeah. Yep. And it doesn't help the mission if you need healing.
But it does help the mission.
It does help the mission,
because when you show up healed and whole, wow. Yeah. Think about the split-second decisions you can make when your brain's not trying to process your emotions,
right? And figuring out somebody that's going through this situation here, where they feel like they need to pull up their micro panties and go back to work after a devastating loss like losing a child. It's okay to be like, I need some time.
And tell somebody.
And fucking tell somebody. Why does this happen? Why is there guilt and shame around this in the workplace? Why is there an expectation that's pull up your bootstrap and keep going no matter what, right? I know people who work the day they're parent, like they went to work anyway, and it's good to show up to work, but if you are having
because sometimes we need that thing that's like normal, right? You need some normalcy, but you still need to allow for the space of the group.
Yes.
So if normalcy is going to work and not sharing what's happening, not moving through your emotions, it's just shove it in a box.
Right, and then you're dealing with it, 15 years later, instead of
in the moment,
process, dealing with the process. Because when you're in the middle of the mess, it's very like you're in like the Twilight Zone. You're in a tunnel, people are talking to you. It's kind of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You're not able to process, you just have to do. Right. And with my military training, it was like next step. Even through the whole process of medically losing my child, it was the whole process took a weeks, and it's torture the whole time. But it was literally zombie land. That was just next step. I was in survival. Didn't have time to process.
They didn't give you any time to process. Nothing.
No, nothing.
With a baby at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. Yeah. There was no time
There was no time to process. So then, without processing or having given time later to process what happened when you were in zombie mode, right? Because I don't know how to describe that.
Like it is, because you're like, the emotion blood is so much. It's almost like your brain is kind of cut off. So
You're
you're kind of
reacting.
like, yeah, this is the next thing I'm supposed to do. Like, okay.
Right. So
You're-
then if you're not given the time and the process to feel those emotions and work through the entire situation at the beginning, and you hold on to that and you put it in a little box, right? Because that's what they tell you to do.
Yeah.
Stuff it down. And then deal with it later. And then later, when you're unpacking your attic, oof, right? And you find the boxes, and you have to deal with the boxes. It's heavy.
Yeah.
So, my encouragement to you, if you or someone you know have something going on, make sure they share that and take some time for themselves to deal with what needs to be dealt with, and grace for healing and mental health for sure. Because you can't do this. You can't heal alone.
You shouldn't heal alone. I mean, you can make yourself go through the process, but it doesn't have to be so lonely.
No.
Because the emotion, there's so many other people that have shared the experience. You don't have to do it alone.
Right. I detectively ready to the case for you guys. I did.
So the chapter really talks about being who you are, not being ashamed of who you are, that it's okay to be yourself. Previously, corporate life meant stripping down to a suit and tie, and you left everything at the door.
Right.
And your basic personality needed to be masked. And so she talks about in here about some guilt about like, whoa, I didn't mean to let my personality shine through. But then she looks at like, oh, well, I suppose, yeah, I was, but she was trying to hide it. And that's like horrible. So if you don't, so here's a little quote that was like the boom for me. But if you don't truly feel that you can be yourself around your colleagues or customers, then in the long run, this workplace is probably not a good fit for you.
If it's like that, we talk about working in alignment, and when you don't feel like you can be your real self in this where you're at, you're not working in alignment,
right? And no matter like, because I used to tell myself, well, I'm doing good work, so I can keep doing this because I'm doing good work, even though I didn't feel like I was being myself at work. The work I was doing was good work, and so then that was my motivator, even though I was miserable. I was crying to and from work, like these things those are not good signs, right? I can look back now and I'm like, oh, that was bad. I should have left that dog up a long time before I did. Yeah. But I was still at that point of not understanding what I understand today. Right. And so I can look at that situation and give myself grace for that and not take that blame and yuckiness with me in the future.
I have actually quit jobs because of the guilt, shame, and blame that was being put on me. And I was like, I'm going home with this extra bullshit from you guys every day and crying. No more. I don't deserve this.
And then you crap all over your family because you feel like crap, right? Like, and they're the people you love the most.
Some of the crap.
Because hurting people hurt people.
And then it's a perpetual thing. Another thing that I liked that she talked about in this chapter is this interview she did with what's his name? Brian McKnight?
Yeah.
Yeah. David McKnight. David McKnight, who was a corporate executive and used to be very nice, structured and things like that, but he's a gay black man. And so he learned over time to
Mask them.
well, he masked it for a long time, but then he broke free of that. He broke free of that, and now he wears like fun glasses and cool jackets and just embraces who he is inside and out. So he doesn't mask that, I can't be a corporate executive because I'm a man and I can't wear these vibrant things to truly be myself because I'm a corporate executive, right? So it was like this whole
so not just women feel this is what we're saying, right? This is seriously
concealing who you are sucks up a lot of energy that would be better spent on your job and on achieving your career goals.
Think of all the energy you spend trying not to be yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was just thinking about some of my favorite TV characters are strong, powerful, interesting women. Like I love NCIS. My favorite character is Abby Shudo, right? Who's the goth lab tech and things like that.
It would be like, I'm not goth. What are you talking about?
Right.
She just herself.
Yeah, I must have this thing with the science nerds too, because Bones is another one of my favorite movies.
Right.
And I love how each one of those characters embraces their full personality.
Right. That one's a really good example of that, because everybody gets to nerd out in their own way and they're still part of the collective.
And actually, in the episode I was watching last night with B, my daughter, Booz found out that the person that was working with him, just Brenda's pregnant, had a kid. And she's been hiding that at the workplace because they ended up talking about diapers or something. Because they would have babies, right?
He didn't even know that about her, that she even had a kid.
Right. So it took him some time to bring it out of her, that it's okay for her and it's safe for her to share her life with him in the workplace, even though it's the FBI, because she's like, it's the FBI, you're not supposed to know anything about my life, right? Because it's that guilt and shame, and she very corporate,
very
corporate, straight-laced, and I love that over time she kind of realizes some things. It's pretty cool.
Yes,
pretty cool. I love character development.
So I love this book. Not only is it really well written, but the exercises that she gives in having an anti-stress toolkit. I'm like, that's rad. Like, just really knowing yourself, like what helps de-stress you. I like that it's about bringing your cortisol, the stress hormone levels down. So it's like doing 30 to 60 minutes of vigorous exercise, and she goes into a whole why, how to do that, and how it affects your hormones. Observe the effect of stress or upset is having in your body. Like, how does this feel in my body when I'm like this?
Right. A lot of times you can just put your hand on your heart and just really feel how you're breathing, how your heart's beating. Sometimes when I'm really stressed out, I can literally feel the vibrations in my body, right? And I can't sit still anyway.
It literally is a different level of vibration, and as you do the work, you feel it more. So don't be afraid if you can't feel it right now, if you're just now starting awareness, right? It's a process. Charlie and I have been doing this for a while. It's practicing our awareness, working through our things. If this is your first time watching a podcast with us, go back and check. You can watch our progress and our growth, and you can see the aha moments on camera and all the things.
Take a few long deep breaths, or even just one breath. This one's kind of funny because we'll do this at work, during our work day, and I'll be like, Heather, are you good? And sometimes she'll be like, yeah, I just needed a breath. Or other times she'll be like, no, I forgot to breathe.
Right, straight up. Oh my gosh, I was so focused, I wasn't breathing. I was really shallow, right? And then you're like, okay, this is not feeling good in my body. Let's get some oxygen in here. Let's get that vital flow going again and reconnected. Because when I'm in alignment, that feels good.
It does feel good.
Again,
And the second thing she talks about, besides the self care toolkit, is to start thinking about what being more like yourself at work might look like. What does that look like?
I like that this could be scary, right? Because you don't know how people are going to react, which is why you've protected yourself with these shields.
Right.
So let's peel the shields back, because you're going to be able to be happier in your whole life if you can be happier in the things you're doing every day. And we spend a lot of time at work, so it needs to not be bringing you down. So I love that she's like, grab a piece of paper in your journal, grab paper, grab a freaking envelope, let's write it down. What would you do if you could be your real self at work? Would you dress differently? Behave differently? Decorate your workspace? Laugh louder? I have a huge laugh, and I know that I have stifled that in the past, right?
I've been hearing your big laugh lately, and
right?
Ask to use flex time. Pick one day a week when you attend no meetings.
Yeah, like I had a friend that she was not good in the morning. She's like, I need you not to schedule meetings before 9 a.m. for me. Like, I want to be present for these actual meetings. Like, this is the thing I need to be able to be present for them. Like, that's a great thing to do for yourself, right? Let your imagination run free. This is your wish list. So just asking yourself, be curious with yourself. What will it look like if I'm just me? And if you find yourself not being yourself in other relationships, apply it to that too. This is specifically about career self-care, but it works on all the levels. So once you figure out how to be you at work, you're going to figure out how to be you at home. You're going to figure out how to be you in your friend group. You just get to be you, and you are a gift to the world.
You get to be yourself in this world. You get to embrace that. And you get to be healed.
Oh, yeah, that was a big bomb this morning. I get to be healed. I get to be. And then I was like, how many things can I put after that? Be healed, whole, loved, loving. Like, I get to accept these things. I get to be.
And you're awesome. And so are you. You're awesome. And so are you guys. You guys are awesome and amazing. Thank you for joining us today at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's less of a question, more of a statement. But
we welcome you to the table. That's why we call it at the table.
Yeah.
There's space here for you. And we appreciate you for joining us today. Stay tuned for a quick message about our cause of the quarter, because as entrepreneurs, it's important to be giving where our hearts lead us. And so we always choose a cause of the quarter to support.
Anything else today? Details coming up next. We'll see you next time.
Namaste.
The Marysville Police Foundation is a 501c3 organization to support these areas of the Marysville Police Department: law enforcement, officer wellness, and the community outreach programs and activities. We look forward to serving you.
We take the mystery and pain out of social media consistency for your business, giving you back time to shine in your zone of genius. Social media is the new branding. It deserves its own attention, thought, and effort. Yet so few businesses actually take this seriously and invest enough time on their strategy. We can do it for you at an affordable rate that will fit into your budget and allow you to pursue other revenue channels as well. The hardest part of social media management is keeping up the consistency to be seen and know what to post, when to post. Are you ready to have everything ready to go for you, saving you time and energy by not having to do it all yourself? Still getting your message out so that people get to know you, like you, and develop trust while opening yourself up to more time for the business of your business where you shine. Working with Women in Leadership, BSMB LLP, is a unique experience that bridges the gap from face-to-face to virtual relationship marketing. Not only do we love to help you shine on social media, we love to share tools to help you grow with us, body, soul, mind, and business. Check out our podcast and YouTube channel for Mindset Mondays, social media training Wednesdays, business interviews and special topics on Fridays, and weekly readings on Sundays. To schedule your consultation or podcast interview, head to our website, www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com. Our weekly readings on Sunday, our podcast, Mindset Monday, social media training with Heather on Wednesdays, guest interviews, and special topics on Fridays. Thank you for joining us. Find out more and schedule with us online at www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com, where you have a spot at the table. Thank you for joining in on the fun. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.